Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recon. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. The Shizzy and Joggle beat. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. OnChain Revolution, Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Ordinal's the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and today's going to be absolutely crazy, guys, because I have a chart that's kind of showing Bitcoin following gold. And we see gold back at an all-time high today, and I think we're about to see Bitcoin take that rip up in the next potentially 100 days. We should see Bitcoin way past its all-time high, and I think even way sooner than that. As I've been saying, I think it's going to happen in the next 6 to 8 weeks, but we'll see. Got a lot of macro data today, and also GameStop to raise $1.3 billion through convertible notes, taking the seller approach there. Then we're going to get into the hyper-liquid stuff. So it seems like Wintermute, Binance, and the guys over there, all the centralized exchanges, are trying to destroy hyperliquid. And we're going to go step by step on why we think that's true, and go through everything. So looking forward to till today. We do have the guys from Arch joining us a little later, probably around 12 o'clock for an update what's going on with Arch. We do know that a snapshot was taken. I'm really looking forward to what comes with that. So without further ado, here I'm bringing my partner here, as always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, man? What is going on with
Well, I think
I don't know. I feel like technical difficulties.
Yeah. Well, I think X is having issues with the spaces right now. They're going in and out. So yeah, they'll probably fix it here shortly. So
sounds good.
No worries.
Good. All right, man. Let's kind of get right into it then. All right. So we got some macro data today. And it was actually good. So I don't know, but we're not going through a recession at all because GDP is actually higher than expected. GDP is around 2.4. Estimated was 2.3. The jobless claims came in pretty much on target. I mean, the expected was 225. We hit 224, and the real consumer spending 4%. It's a little lower than where they estimated, but it's higher than previous. So I don't know. The macro looks really good. I don't know what they're planning to do with that. And then your guy, Mr. Trump comes in as soon as things look good yesterday, comes in and talks about 20%, 25% tariffs on all cars imported. Markets didn't like that. After that, it seems like every single time the NASDAQ, which Bitcoin follows, is having a good day, Donald comes out with some new tariff, and it's just words, right? Because nothing has gone in effect. It's just words, but it seems like he wants to push down the markets. It seems like he wants to make the economy look weak, so Jerome has to drop rates and start QE. I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm sure he has like, his economic advisors talking to him every morning, right? Like, what's our strategy? This is our strategy.
Yeah.
Make sure that we're still on track with it and all these things. So it does seem like it's intentional, and that could make a lot of sense if, you kind of push the Fed into one direction, which I'm sure there's constant communication right now happening with the Fed. And then like you have this kind of like, I guess like built up demand eventually, and then you turn the fire hydrant off or on, right? And then everything starts flowing, and then you have that blow off the top, and the economy's so good. And this new administration, I knew they would come through. Doesn't that sound like a picture they're trying to paint right now?
Yeah, kind of showing that the economy, this is not their fault. This is all from the previous administration, and then in 2 years
and then
from
we're
now,
gonna fix it. Is basically,
and then it's all fixed, guys. Look at this, all-time highs and stuff. But can we wait? like, can the crypto markets be patient enough to kind of get to wait another potentially 100 days? But I don't know. But this next chart here does show gold at all-time high today. Gold's around $3,053. I know Peter Schiff and his team are very happy about this. But as you can see, around, I want to say about 100 days ago, around January, we saw gold in this sideways momentum, sideways motion for a long time, right? Going all the way back to September, just sideways. And very similar to what Bitcoin is kind of going through here. If you kind of match this up, it's pretty much the same. But as you can see, after that last dip there, it was up only. And it looks very similar to kind of what happened here. And because we had that dip kind of matches that one, a little bit more sideways. For this one, it was down and then upward momentum. So it's kind of showing that potentially we're right here. So it's looking really strong. Like if this matches up or this follows it at all, I mean, Bitcoin's looking pretty strong to gold.
It does look pretty strong, but there was definitely a period to where they were not. It didn't seem like they were matching. But what I think this chart is showing is that there's a delay with Bitcoin to gold, and so if that's
About
the
100
case,
days. Yeah.
If that's the case, then we should probably see some uptrend, some aggressive uptrend eventually here in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Right now, I'm still in that boat of we're kind of in the safe place with Bitcoin in terms of price action. There's some crazy stuff happening in the space, like behind the scenes with centralized exchanges and stuff like that. But Bitcoin itself, I'm not like, I don't have that full confirmation that leads to conviction that the 10 weeks is going to be like extremely crazy, but we're in a good starting point, right? And so the next couple, I would say the next 7 days to me is going to be very, very important to see what happens, because I see some people that are really good traders that have been 80% correct the last 6 to 12 months, and they're calling for one more kind of dip down to 81, hitting some stop losses. But it's not everybody, it's just a couple of them, so we'll see who's right and who's wrong here.
I mean, if that was the case and we did fall back down, then it would probably mean we were kind of like maybe here. Maybe we have to make this right here very similar to what
or
we
right
had,
before or right before the drop, before the uptick, I mean, that last drop down. Right there, maybe.
Yep, we'll see. All right. Big news today. GameStop plans to raise $1.3 billion through convertible notes. It's speculated that they will use some of the funds to purchase Bitcoin. We know if they're following the Saylor approach, this entire $1.3 billion will end up going to Bitcoin. I think so anyway. But they're not using. This is kind of something we talked about yesterday. They're not using the $4 billion they have in cash. They're actually raising more, and they're actually raising debt for the first time. And actually, potentially buying Bitcoin with it.
It looks like the same playbook, right? 1.3 billion through convertible notes. That's exactly what they did, right?
Yep.
So they're like, hey, big brother, we're gonna follow you and do what you did, and because it seems like you're having success. Gonna be very interesting. I have seen some people say that they are possibly taking out some shorts on GameStop because they feel like this is unwarranted, kind of a thrust up. But I disagree with that. I think got to be careful. Hey, maybe they're right. Maybe it doesn't affect them the exact same way as strategy, but eventually it will. Like even if it's short term pulls back some, like eventually if they continue that strategy, in my opinion, they will benefit from it, right? So you have to remember, MicroStrategy didn't just start benefiting right off the jump from it, right? Like they started buying in 2022 aggressively, right? And it took some time, and eventually it got to the point to where, TradFi people were like, okay, we're in here.
Yeah, 100%. And but you know kind of what happens when people decide to short GameStop, right? What happened to the last guy who tried to short GameStop, right? So I welcome that because I would love for the degens in the stock market to kind of hop back into GameStop. That would be a fun ride, but which would kind of lead us back to crypto, which you normally do. But all right, jump to the next thing here. With Bitcoin currently trading around 87K, while the ETF realized price is at 72K. Bitcoin ETF holders are sitting on an average unrealized profit of 17%, according to Crypto Quant. And I have a chart here. So, and what this is basically saying is the average Bitcoin ETF holder is sitting on between like around 17% profit. So, mainly everyone who bought here during this entire 2024, if you bought the ETF, you're up around 17%. And for stock market guys, 17% is a lot for them. Like they don't, the S&P is the average, between 9 and 11%. For a Bitcoin ETF, it's kind of showing signs that they're holding long term. They're not just taking profit as a lot of people thought they were going to do.
And I actually expected that. I expected, the retail part of this, right? Like BlackRock aside, the retail holders to be like, okay, they're gonna get advice from their advisors of like, hey, this might be a good time to kind of flip and or take some profit or whatever. But they're not like that. And a lot of times with this high end, you know what I mean? Unless they're completely managing, they give them the authority to manage their portfolios. But I would think that would be a completely separate portfolio anyways. So for me, like when I think about these high end clients, that they hold their portfolio stocks unless there was a big red flag that came out of nowhere or something, right? So I actually expect this to grow as kind of like a hodl type with the ETF, and then maybe the institutions kind of going in and out themselves just to be strategic with it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there. All right, jump into the next thing here. Wyoming. So just want to jump into something real quickly before we get into this. So about a week ago, Donald Trump's company, I think it was World Liberty Financial, they just basically said they have a stable coin. It's called USD1. Now Wyoming's getting in the game here. Wyoming plans to launch its own fiat-backed stablecoin, WYST token, by July 2025, making it the first U.S. state to issue a government-backed crypto. This is absolutely wild. And there's more news on this. Layer 0 becomes Wyoming's token issuance partner for the stablecoin WYST. Layer 0 is on every chain. They are the bridge if you want to go from Solana to Ethereum. They are the bridge if you want to go to Cosmos to Ethereum. They are the bridge if you want to go to Polkadot to Ethereum, right? And Ethereum kind of connects them all. This is massive because this WYST, which stands for Wyoming's stable token, is going to be potentially on every chain.
Dude, what's going on, man? Like, this is crazy to me. And Texas is going to come out with one. Texas,
Pennsylvania.
Texas is the second largest economy in the U.S. California is the largest, obviously, and I think it's second. It's either second or third. Anyways, so they'll probably come out with a stable coin. They see this as such a big opportunity for kind of like a passive, safe way to create revenue, right? So I think we're gonna see this, and we'll probably start to see. But then, like, how far does this go? You know what I mean? Like, do large corporations say, "Hey, we're gonna just like launch our stablecoin"? It makes sense with PayPal because they're a financial kind of, they're a fintech, right? Financial tech. It makes sense for banks or something but like states, that's crazy to me, right? And I think it already shows and probably already answers my question that there isn't really a boundary that the stablecoin game can't, go cross over to. So,
and think about it this way: what's one of the largest companies in the world? It's Tether, right? So every state wants more income, right? So this is another way to draw income. So let's just say the stable coin is primarily used in Wyoming, right? If they say, hey, if you're going to be doing anything in Wyoming, we want you to use WYST token, which now you have to potentially, if you have $10,000 in cash, you have to go get the stable coin, and there's a fee. Anytime you go from cash to stablecoin or stablecoin to cash, there's a fee. Who's going to make that fee? The state of Wyoming. So if you live in Wyoming, it would benefit you if you're going to go to stablecoins to use the Wyoming stablecoin. So if you're in Texas, it'll benefit you to use the Texas stablecoin because that money's going back to your government, which potentially can pay for roads, can pay for whatever, right? Like can pay for or actually buy Bitcoin with it, right? So that benefits the people from each state. If every state does have a token. But again, this goes back to DeFi. Everything always goes back to DeFi. Why is that? It's something I hit on yesterday. Stable coin pools will be the biggest money making opportunity for every single investor, and that will destroy the bond market. Because if I'm making 7% yield on the Wyoming token and USDC in a stable pool, so people are able to go from Wyoming to USDC or USDC back in the Wyoming stablecoin, I can get yield. There's going to be so much opportunity. You're going to be able to put money in every stablecoin pool and potentially make anywhere from 3 to 7% yield over the course of a year, just from people trading in and out of them.
And I expect these states to really, beef up their crypto experience staff, right, for stuff like this, because this is going to be very. I think you have to be very delicate with this, right? Because you have to make sure there's no like a chance for exploit, or just kind of even maybe separating it into multiple different situations. So if something were to happen, right? So there's got to be a lot of strategy into this. But I agree, especially with kind of the way that the U.S. government has kind of pivoted towards, hey, look, let's separate the federal government and kind of let the states, do their thing a little bit more, eliminating Department of Education, stuff like that. This helps with the funding of those things, right? And so I do expect to see more of this. I expect to see more states do this. It's going to be very interesting. One of the things that the states, there's two things that states benefit a lot from that I'm not huge fans of. The lottery, okay, that's fine, whatever, but that goes to schools, that goes to whatever, right? Infrastructure. The second one is tolls. I absolutely hate tolls. And a lot of them are private companies that kind of, just give some kickbacks to the state to be able to do these things, right? But what this will do is kind of, focus on really just funding through passive income through stable coins. So you're not relying on everyday drivers or, people that have problem with gambling with lotto tickets and stuff like that. Right. So this is pretty clean so far, approach. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. And, the only thing that's really hurts is Tether or USDC, right? That's the only really companies that this actually does hurt, when every single state, potentially Apple as well, or a company, right? These big companies who are, some of them are bigger than states, money wise, right? And so it's just you're going to see everyone with their stablecoin. But again, this benefits the DeFi guy more than anyone else. If you're capable of creating a pool, an LP pool, you're going to make out really well, especially in the beginning.
You know who can thrive from this that has struggled the last decade is regional banks. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this. The big banks has really kind of taken over, right? You still have your regional banks, especially from the country and smaller towns, right? And what they'll be able to do is the state will be able to say, hey, you know what? You want to make off of, give us the capital that you want to be able to put into, earning yield. We're only going to take 1.5% or whatever, whatever they come up with. And then the bank can take their percentage and then offer to the everyday person too, Look, we're using, if you just open a bank account with us and, you agree to the terms and conditions, whatever you have in your account for that month, you'll earn this percentage just having it there. You know what I mean? By this date every month. I just came up with something. I just came up with a financial product.
Dude, now you can actually give real yield to savings accounts. Right now, I think the saving account yield is 0.04. I think that's what it is here with my bank.
Tiny.
It's tiny. 0.4 a year. I mean, that's $40 I'm making 4 cents, right? It's more than that. I'm making 0.4 of a penny, right? So this could actually offer real yield to savings accounts. This could actually give you a 7%. It's like, hey, listen, we're gonna take your funds, but don't worry. Well, they don't got to tell the customer because it's all done in the back end anyway, right? So they just got to have funds up front. So these banks can actually
they're already doing it
pools.
anyways. They're already doing that anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just in the traditional system. So
Yeah.
they would just have to be like a cutoff date, kind of how they do savings accounts, right? Or
Yeah.
you can't withdraw in savings, but like you could do it with the checking account too, and say
Yeah.
that like you know, on the 15th of every month, whatever that balance is, you earn this or whatever, right? So I mean, it's gonna be very interesting to see how the game plays. And I see myself down there. He probably hates this conversation. Like at the end of the day, they're coming, man, and like we can't stop that. But like you know, if you can win, have little wins here and there, you got to take advantage of them.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, speaking of stablecoins, the market cap of stablecoin USDC, which is the second largest behind USDT, has surpassed $60 billion for the first time.
Woo!
$60 billion now is issued in USDC. Circle and Coinbase have made a bucket of money off this. I'm sure they made, let's just say 60 billion. I'm sure they made like a couple percentage points in there, which is a lot of money. So, I mean, they probably made like at least minimum 600K from this alone, just from going in and out just that one time, right? That one time, not to mention how many times they go out and in and out. And then they probably made about $6 billion, honestly, from the USDC alone. So I'm really curious of so with USD1, with potential every state getting in the stablecoin market, does USDC keep growing? Or do you think money starts pouring into PayPal and stuff like that?
They have such a head start with the global market, right? So I don't think USDC and USDT are worried. They have such a head start with the global market, right? And then they also have their under channels or whatever assets of business, right, outside of just the stable coin, which the stable coin they benefit immensely from, right? But they have new products like USDT's launching the gold USDT on Bitcoin, right? And they're going to continually grow. So they have such a head start that I don't think they're worried. You know, but like, you know, if these state stables give incentive to their everyday consumer at their bank, the regional banks, right? Then that's how they're going to have to, they're basically going to have their own market within everyday users that aren't using USDT and USDC. There's so many users not using it right now in the US, you know, society, right? And globally, really. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree too. I think this gets to 100 billion by the end of the year. Honestly, I think they're going to grow like catastrophically. Like they're going to grow so much because when you're in crypto, you're looking at USDC as number one coin. In TradFi, you might see a lot of these other coins kind of do really well, but we really won't see it from our side of it because a lot of the pools will be USDC pool. You'll probably have USDC matched up with every single stablecoin, with USD1, everything, just so you can kind of go back and forth because a lot of opportunities will come with USDC, especially in DeFi.
Agreed.
But jump to the next thing here. Rumble has launched his new Rumble wallet with support for Tether's USDT. Dude, I think we should rename the show Stablecoin Revolution because it's just Rumble has USDT is powering this Rumble wallet. So they're basically going to allow you to tip creators in USDT throughout the entire form of the entire, you know, whatever you call it, Web 2 platform, which is Rumble is, right? So their Rumble is now going Web 3. And there's going to be different projects coming with Rumble as well using USDT. I think this is massive. I'm going to download a Rumble wallet. I think it sounds cool. It's EVM and it's powered by USDT. And it, you know, Tether's investment now looks like it was a strategic one.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy about this because I feel like they can lead the way of kind of like a snowball type of situation, right? Especially, I mean, you see it on Abstract, but Abstract captured an already existing Web3, you know, community, right? And saying, hey, look, you can do this. Cool, awesome. But with Rumble, they have a lot of Web2 influence still, to where they can be a part of this like mainstream adoption, and you know. It's all about getting in the habit. Humans are, you know, creatures of habit, right? I mean, look, if you go to your local fast food place that's popular, A lot of times when you pay with card, they'll give you the thing to tip. Where did that come from? That came from COVID. You know, like whenever, because like everybody's like, oh, I got to tip these guys because they're service industry. And at the time, true. It's still in our habit right now. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what this could do with Rumble.
I hit 0. I don't give a shit. Like I used to care.
That
I'm like,
doesn't surprise me. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
Actually,
like,
I get annoyed with it too. After
crypto's
like,
down, bro. That's what I say. Crypto's down. I ain't got money for this right now. All right. The next thing here is actually pretty big. Interactive Brokers adds Sol, XRP, ADA, and Doge to its crypto trading platform. Interactive Brokers Group is a prominent American multinational brokerage firm headquartered in Greenwich, Connecticut. This is a big boy. This is a big player. This isn't your normal Robinhood. This isn't your normal, you know, whatever we're talking about yesterday. This is the big guys here. This is Greenwich, Connecticut. This is Interactive Brokers Group now listing degen coins like Doge and ADA and XRP and Solana. Pretty crazy.
degen coins, but to them the safer degen coins, right? Compared to,
well, I mean, they consider Bitcoin risk on, right? How do they consider this shit?
I mean, I think to the everyday person in crypto, like, you know, those are considered majors, right? So but they've been around since 1978, right? So they've been, you know, a brokerage for high value assets, right? So they're a management firm, and so this is big news because you know, just in that northeast area, like the Connecticut's and stuff, that's old money, right? A lot of old money. And you know, I know that they have clients all over the world probably, right? So but they've been around for so long. This is a big win, big move forward.
It's a big move for crypto. I mean, having Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? They're ETFs, like that's normal. Putting stuff like this stuff on Sol, XRP, ADA, and Doge, I mean, it's just opening up the door for more and more and more. You potentially could see 10 to 15 by the end of the year. So, and what does that do? That pumps your bags. That's old money.
Pump my bags.
Seriously, that's old money for the first time able to access coins that they never really had access to. They're not opening a Coinbase account, right? They're not doing that. They would love to just do it through their broker. I mean, this is a broker. This is the guys who sit down with old money, 70, 80-year-olds and say, let's just put 1% into a couple of these tokens. 1% of $1 trillion is a lot of money. Like, you know what I mean? So, and we're talking multiple, we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of clients that altogether probably have about $1 trillion altogether. So if they just access 1% of that money, I mean, it could absolutely explode everything we're doing here.
And their business is like almost 100% based on trust that they've built with these clients over the years, decades, right? And so and that's why they'll probably start off, you know, giving like a conservative, you know, like recommendation and all those things because it makes sense, you know. So ease this kind of old money, this traditional client in, and prove to them, and then, you know, they already have their trust in general. So most of them will just say, yeah, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah, 100%. They probably won't even think about it. Like, do you think it's a good idea, Charlie? And Charlie's like, I think this is a good idea. All right, I trust you, Charlie. So I think that's kind of what that's about. But let's get into today's fear and greed. So last week we were at a 49. Last Thursday, yesterday we're at a 47. Today we are on the lower end of the 40s, very lower end of the 40s.
Okay, 41.
Pretty close. We're at
42.
I mean, right there, 40.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know how to say 4-0.
No,
but yeah. So 40 today, yesterday 47, last week 49. Still kind of hanging out in this fear. Yesterday we were kind of in neutral, and today we're in fear. So yeah, I kind of expect, like I'm still expecting us to be in the green next week. I mean, as the days get on and Trump comes out and tries to kill the momentum every single time we have it, it is really hard to stay positive, but I think the markets will eventually beat out the old man in the White House. So old man screaming at clouds. So we'll see. Let's kind of move on to the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artora.finance. Artora.finance is doing amazing things. They're going to be going on Hemi, and so their mainnet will be on Hemi layer 2 Bitcoin, which is backed by Binance, guys. Hemi is one of the bigger L2s coming in that are backed by these big players. So what does playing with Artura do for you, right? If you're playing Artura on mainnet, you're potentially going to get that Hemi airdrop. And if Binance is potentially getting some of that Hemi token, they're going to list it. Potentially, Hemi will be listed on Binance, which you guys can get free potentially by using Artura.finance. So I want to make sure that I'm saying it without saying it. But guys, please, I beg you, go to Artura.finance, play on the Botonics testnet so you guys are ready for mainnet. When mainnet comes along and you guys can win there and you guys can really, really kind of push that, it's going to be free money. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't be using this. Like, I want the Hemi token, and I'm going to be farming the crap out of Artura. I apologize to Artura, but guys, I'm going to be on your site. I'm going to be farming. I'm going to be doing dollar trades. I'm going to make sure my volume is high with a little bit of money that I have right now, and I'm going to keep playing around. So, guys, I highly recommend you guys do that. You know, if I take $1 and do 150x and I win, it's a lot of value. It's a lot of potential value, and I only lose $1. Potentially get that Hemi token, and I mean I'm double dipping, right? Because potentially Artura is going to do an airdrop as well. So guys, highly recommend Artura.finance. Play with Botonics so you're ready for Hemi.
Yep. And guys, we were talking to some people that went to ETH Denver, and they met a couple of people that all they do is airdrop farm, and they're making like $500,000, like you know, a year, I want to say he said, or something like
a year,
about $500,000 a year. But they are aggressive with it. They're looking at, looking at every opportunity. And there's always that story. I think it was it Radium? Was it Radium with the Indian kid that like was doing a transaction every single day, and his airdrop was $1 million. So
Jupiter.
That's what it was. Yeah. So. All right, guys, before we get into the Bitcoin price action, though, if you guys could help us out, we got X back on track, which is great. But on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, guys. It does help the algorithms, I believe. And also make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So you turn your notifications on so you know when we go live so you don't miss anything. And on the X side, if you could share the space, guys, it would really help us out a lot. We got a little slow start because X was not putting our video out, but now it's out. So if you could help us out with that, we would greatly appreciate it. And on the abstract side, you could always help us out by sharing the stream as well. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action that actually doesn't look too bad. Compared to yesterday, I would say it looks decent. I'm going to pull that up right now. Remove your screen. Remember to do that now. Let me see here. All right, cool. Let's jump into it. So the hour chart, guys. Our chart looks like a decent setup here, right? We did kind of pull back through overnight. And then that 9:30 bell came and we were able to eat up these red candles. But the wicks, always pay attention to the wicks too, because a lot of times what happens is those wicks, they get revisited. But just keep your eye on that. And so like a revisit here at 86,000.
Not seeing a note. Not seeing anything
at all. Let me see.
There it goes.
We're good. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, what I was explaining here was let me break this out here. These wicks is what I'm talking about. So a lot of times some people wick trade. They'll look at the wick, they'll see if it's a long aggressive wick, and they'll say, it's most likely going to revisit around that price. If it does, it'll just be, kind of a swing back and forth after a good day, bad day. It doesn't happen all the time, but some people have the wick trading strategy that's heavy into their strategy there. But let's take a look at the hour chart and see what the rest of today possibly has for us. It looks really good. Like I said, a pretty good setup on the hour chart. Next 4 to 8 hours could look like we might get a push up to 88.5 coming out of this sell pressure. This would be a really short session of sell pressure though. But it looks like, it wants to come out, right? Like you can see this leading blue MACD indicator line curling up here. We are past that 20-point mark of oversold. So it looks like we are heading towards overbought, which is always a good thing. This green candle looks really great, but hey, we know how volatile Bitcoin can be. So just be safe here, but the setup definitely looks decent. And that's the hour chart here. Let's go into the 4-hour chart right here. Bring this up. There we go. Bam. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the 4-hour chart. All right, so what needs to happen here is the hour chart needs to get like exactly what I just mentioned for that setup, like let's get through to that 88.5, kind of break out of this, right? Because this is obviously 4 hours behind, so the candles are 4-hour candles, so it's still kind of playing that energy from overnight, right? So overnight wasn't the best. It kind of had to sell down from the US time zone, at least time zones. And so we're still kind of looking like, okay, the 4-hour chart needs to be a bit more convinced, right? Okay, we don't want to head back down heading into the weekend, and that's really going to be the rest of today playing out. Now, if we were just to play off of this, then this would tell me probably, you know, some sell down heading into the weekend. So if the hour chart doesn't bounce kind of into that 88.5, 89,000, and it stays where we are, and we actually reverse a little bit, this could be a little bit of a down, you know, trend into the weekend, maybe that 85, 84. Some people, you know, unfortunately, they're saying liquidity is kind of even on the upside and downside in between where we are right now, or we're in between. You know, liquidity on the upside to liquidate the shorts, and the downside to liquidate the longs. But they're saying that there is a little bit more stop loss hunting opportunities on the downside, and that would bring it down to kind of, you know, maybe to this wick or a little bit lower even. So that's just something to keep your eye on. We still have that kind of sore thumb that's sticking out on April 2nd with the reciprocal tariff. So
Yeah.
that could be what's kind of holding us back. But I do still have that feeling of bullishness. You know, I do think that, like, we're just going to tag some levels and then get back on track, because that weekly
Yeah.
chart definitely still looks pretty decent. So you know, let's see how the rest of today plays, because this definitely, if this changes, that, you know, second half of today is bullish, you know, going off of that hour chart setup, and we get back to that 88.5, 89, this will change, and then we could have a decent weekend for Bitcoin. All right, now let's take a quick look here at the weekly chart. Let me bounce this up here. So this is Bitcoin's weekly chart here. So weekly chart looks pretty decent still. It looks pretty good, right? So we do need some aggressive price action to kind of get out of this, like, you know, this sell pressure on the MACD, right? We need something, you know, whether we have a push today, maybe a strong day tomorrow. Weekends are always kind of not too aggressive until Sunday evening. But if we can, you know, get out of this right here, then we could be looking at something, you know, that could play into like this, right? Something like, so playing into something like this. But we do need to get out of this sell pressure. And, you know, these MACD candles are pretty big. So this was a really good, you know, past couple weeks to kind of get us to lighten up this candle. But I do think we need to hit 90, low 90,000s, 90 to 92,000 to kind of, you know, get a smaller candle on the MACD, and then truly get confirmation that we're out of sell pressure and we can start building some green candles here. But we'll see. We're still playing off of this 50-day EMA, the top channel, really well. But again, we're going to finish this week on Sunday. So let's see how the rest of this week plays out. If we, you know, keep this green candle, or if it turns red, it's going to, you know, mean a lot for what our indicators are going to let us know where we're probably heading to next, right? So that's what I'm seeing there for the hour. And then really quick, let me hit on the others, which is the top 10 cryptos of other than Bitcoin, right? So on the hour chart, not so good for the others. You know, Bitcoin looks better right now. We're seeing kind of like this pullback for the rest of the alts, right? You know, the stochastic still looks decent. You know, it doesn't look horrible. The MACD though tells us that it's kind of matching up with this red candle here. So, oh, I don't know, man. I don't like what I'm seeing here for the hour chart on the others, but we'll see if we can turn this around. Always when Bitcoin gets pretty aggressive, the others will, even if it's kind of lagging a little bit, it will respond positively, right? Aggressive to the upside. So let's see what happens with Bitcoin if it can pull it up. But this is not what I wanted to see for sure on the hour. Let's go to the 4 hour though. 4 hour, kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing, right? We do have a green candle still here for the others, and we are above the 50-day EMA, the top of the channel here. But you know, the rest of today is really going to let us know what this is going to look like for the others. But hopefully, we can stay above this. We can turn this around. So you know, we should be rooting for Bitcoin to get to that 88.5, 89.5, maybe 90,000 sooner than later. Last thing here is the weekly. Let's see. Let me pull this up. I had it up here. All right. So this one's important for the others because the weekly for the others category has not been great. Like it's been, worse than Bitcoin, of course, which makes sense because when Bitcoin sells down, typically the alt market sells down 5 to 10 times harder. But we have been able to build up this momentum, kind of like Bitcoin has been, but been able to sustain. That's why it surprises me on the hour chart that we're looking at that. But it's a very, high time frame, low, hour chart only gives you 4 to 8 hours of forecasting. So I wouldn't worry too much, but second half of today is going to be important, in my opinion, for the others category. Let's hope that, we can continually maintain what's been happening on the 4-hour and the weekly chart. Because the 4-hour, remember, I just showed you, we are defending that top channel of the 50-day EMA. So that's good for the others category. But yeah, guys, I think today's going to be an important day to see how price action goes. And, if we do try to tag those stop losses on Bitcoin, unfortunately, we'll probably see that same kind of situation for the others as well. And the last thing I'll go into, I know I've been over here for a while, but is the crypto bubbles. For some reason, it doesn't want to show up right.
I have it here if you want me to.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Okay, so this actually looked a little bit worse than it looks right now because I have it on the daily, right? So this makes sense to what we're seeing on the hour chart, right? We just saw kind of the others not necessarily having a great day so far on the hour chart. But when I first looked at this, like 30 minutes ago, there was only about, I would say, 6 green bubbles. So it's starting to get a little bit more. They're starting to bounce back some. So that was the daily. But if we look at the weekly still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
The weekly still looks pretty good for the bubbles. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, whenever I just showed the weekly chart as well. So it's matching up here. Let's hope we can keep the momentum. And look, we had 3 pretty solid days of bubbles for the alt market. So today being a pullback isn't too worrisome. Let's hope the second half of today bounces back for Bitcoin, but more specifically the alts. And so that's what I got for you guys.
Yeah, I just want to show you something too, real quick. So this is the is 1 through 100, and I'm starting to kind of play with this and kind of learn about it a little bit more. But if you go to 100 to 200, this is the coins from 100 market cap 200. It doesn't look as pretty, right? So it does show you that the coins.
Go to the weekly though.
Yeah, well, that looks good. That looks good. Pulsax down 18%. Damn, Kava. But I do like. We're gonna start utilizing the site more and more. And kind of really shown, but yeah, I mean, this looks very good. Green wise on the weekly, Pengu's down, a couple of them down, Kava's down 10%. Yeah, so and then let's get more degen with it, right? Let's go to 200 to 300 and kind of see again. It still looks really green, and this actually looks really, really green, dude. What is going on with the Hex ecosystem?
So there was something going on, but they got exploited or something happened where like someone took advantage of one of their stables or something. I gotta look back, but they got hit pretty hard. This was a week ago. But look at Sats, dude. Sats is down 20 at the very bottom. It's down 24%.
I saw that.
Sats was on a runner, like I want to say like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was this huge red candle that came in because Block actually posted about it yesterday. It was like he's like this, the centralized exchange perps whales are manipulating Sats. And I was like, seems pretty much right on par for the cycle, right? Like
I know.
But anyways, Zeus.
Yeah, let's take it one more step of degen. But we see Dog up there.
Yeah,
Dog sitting there. We say Zeus. Oh yeah, Zeus is that
launch today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit later. I'm gonna take it one more step at degen. We'll go 300 to 400. Kind of see what we have here. Yeah, I never heard of any of these tokens. Like, I mean, I heard of Well. It's Moon Well. BVV, I know that one. Bone. I don't know what that is. Dogs, that's the one on
Ton.
Ton, yeah. AIXPT,
yeah.
Up 31%. Damn, it's a big move for them on the week. But yeah, let's move along here. Let's get into today's roll call, everybody. So we'll jump into that right now. First is first on this show. So make sure you are locked in on the page. And it looks like it's my boy Lackey Lukey with his Billy Cat. Congratulations to you, sir. You, sir, are a winner. It's your 5th win of the year. You got a Billy Cat t-shirt. 5th win of the year. Congratulations to you, my friend. Absolutely killing it. Plenty of time for any of you guys to take this. Lackey Lukey could end up being the winner. And he did something smart. So he did something really smart. He locked it in with a super chat. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $1. But guys, we don't care if you do this or not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we get like 50 cents of this $1. So we're not gonna. So like, this isn't us trying to force you guys to give us super chats whatsoever. This is just something that we've seen, and I've never seen YouTube actually take down a super chat or comments. And that's the thing too. A super chat, if the comments do get deleted, I don't think a super chat goes anywhere. So technically, that super chat would be the first. See, I don't know. There's different. This is like gamified now. Like,
Yeah.
this is it's definitely gamified. But we're not doing this for you guys to do this at all. If you like, you know what I mean. Like, I'm not telling you guys to do this. I'm just saying it could work. So, but that's up to you guys. So, but shout out to Lackey Lukey, Danny Boy is in here. What a FUGG fug. Shout out to Danny Boy. PJNZ says, "Gah." I love the noises you guys have been making in the chat today. Fug and gah. And then we have PJNZ says, lock it in with a super chat. Oh, it's PJNZ who initiated it. Shout out to you guys, man. Lucky Lukey throws some crying, laughing faces. Danny Boy throws another one in there. Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. He loves me and I love you with his Billy Cat. Shout out to Mr. Hanky. Glass Hopper says, come on, Reaper. WebJoe hops in. Was a great idea with the super chat. Lucky Lukey locking it in. Again, we're not 100% sure that's going to work, right? We haven't seen the Reaper delete a super chat yet, but we're not sure if it's going to work. Malam Yuri says Lackey Lukey means business. Congrats. Nighthawk says GM, my confidants. Shout out to you, my friend. Cheaty says, what's up, guys? Superfan with a GM. Thank you so much for being here every single day, Superfan. You guys are absolutely awesome. You and Cheaty as well. Superfan says that's the work of Caitlin Long of Custodia Bank. She's been the proponent of crypto forever, used to work for the SEC. And I think he's talking about the Wyoming stablecoin, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it says here, Wyoming invented the LLC back in the day. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. And wants to be the model for this, too. Yeah, that's freaking awesome. And then he says Cardano, IOHK, moved from Hong Kong to Wyoming to be a part of these efforts. Oh, wow. I'm surprised, though, it's not the first stablecoin on Cardano. Does Cardano have a stablecoin? But that would be funny if it was just Wyoming.
So they're actually, they are about to implement it. But you know, fun fact on Wyoming, JCPenney was founded there. So Wyoming has some good entrepreneurial roots and history to it.
Yeah. I hear it's like great farmland too. Like if you ever wanted to like get off the grid, I heard Wyoming is one of the few places you can do that. Claudia says Danny Boy says, yeah. Mice Elf says, why has USDT still not passed their audits?
Have they not passed them? I thought they were not like they just didn't want to open up, I think they're like collateral to make it public. I'm not sure. But there is some, you know, and I think we're learning like how much of a dog eat dog world we're in with this industry, like with Binance and utilizing the cleaner is what I'm calling Wintermute now. But like even stables are probably at another level, you know, especially with now, all the competition, the big boys, they want to kill each other off. Right. And I'm pretty sure like all the FUD, all that stuff has been generated by like probably people that's related to Circle, right? Or some situation like that. But at the end of the day, like once regulations are in, I think that people are going to probably have to show what they got. So
I agree. It's time to put up or shut up for sure. Myself is here. Shut to myself again. Chief Axel, and we got Faber. Oh, that is an ad. So Courtney Johnson. I was like, oh, we got a Twitch. Oh, no, never mind. And then Courtney Johnson finishes that. Is like, get some WoW on Sui, just TGE mainnet. Okay, that's why that WAL token is flying. It's a Sui token. But shout out to Courtney Johnson for the alpha there. Appreciate you, my friend, always being here as well. And that is your roll call for today. Appreciate every single one of you guys who make roll call every single day. And if you're just listening, please make roll call. It really, really helps us to kind of dig into who is here every single day. It'll definitely help when making decisions later. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Let's kind of get into some on-chain news here. So I have a tweet, and I kind of went through it and kind of broke it down. So I'm going to run through it real quick, but I definitely want to give him the credit he deserves. His name is Duo9. He said centralized exchanges weaponize liquidity to attack Hyperliquid. This is a danger precedent. So then I have it. Okay, here we go. Centralized exchanges. Here we go. And then he goes, Hyperliquid was attacked using the Jelly token. An attacker shorted the Jelly, crashed the price, then suddenly pumped it 500%, causing a $10 million loss to Hyperliquid's HLP vault, which backs trades. At the same time, Binance, OKX, and Bybit suddenly listed Jelly futures, something they never do for tiny tokens, making things worse. To protect users, Hyperliquid manually changed Jelly's price to settle the short in profit instead of a huge loss, saving users but raising decentralization concerns. On-chain evidence linked the attacker's wallet to Binance. Now, the HLP vault is down to under 200 million from 500 million, and it's clear Sexes see Hyperliquid as a threat and are fighting back. Wow.
My God, dude, like it's just I can't imagine like how stressful that situation was for Hyperliquid. You know what I mean? And I was reading into this, and so I don't know the dynamics of like how that happened, but it seemed like they took a spot position in Jelly,
Well, yeah,
and
here it
then
is
they
here. So
yeah, they took the spot position in Jelly, and then they took a $6 million short position, and they drove the price down initially, and then pumped up like the price immensely, like super, to where that initial spot position was in massive profit at so they made money, but they but it was all strategic. It was all to really point out the weaknesses of Hyperliquid's system. And so I don't know how I feel about this, because I look at this and I know that corporations, can be like in the US, the past like 20, 30 years, there's been dirty tricks and plays and stuff, between the biggest competitors. But then maybe like an up and coming small one that threatens a lot of the big ones. They're kind of like, well, let's keep it us only, And so that's what this seems like. And it's like, on one hand, you're like, okay, they proved that having this decentralized but centralized.
They never said decentralized.
I know. I'm just saying, but
yeah.
That's what has been kind of going around crypto Twitter, right? And and so in on chain, people, I think on crypto Twitter, they connect that in their head, like, okay, this is like like more decentralized than what centralized exchanges are, and all this blah blah blah, right? And because of that, I think that month where Solana plus Hyperliquid put more volume out than any centralized exchange, they definitely looked at him as a threat. And so, like, I think it's messed up in the sense of like, all the big players kind of like ganging up against Hyperliquid, but at the same time, if they don't do it, eventually someone's probably going to try to do this anyways, right? And so I don't know. How do you look at it? I'm curious.
So this is this tweet right here, or this part of his tweets. At the same time, Binance, OKX, and Bybit, same exact time, suddenly listed Jelly futures. This was an attack. This was an attack on completely attacked by the centralized exchanges. They went after Hyperliquid. They saw blood. They saw blood with this, and they took it. They took their shot. They teamed up together. And we do know when Bybit suffered their hack, OKX and Binance were the ones.
We're the first to come up and help them out. Yeah.
So, and it does show me again that maybe what happened to FTX might have been a coordinated attack as well.
So, it was definitely coordinated. We know that.
Yeah. Well, we weren't sure that Binance was involved, right? It was just CZ coming out and saying, "Hey, we're going to be selling our FTX token because of this and this."
Well, I mean,
and then everyone was like, and then because CZ knew that where their liquidation price was, and if he could get people to hit their liquidation price, FTX was done, because there was no way for them to get those billions of dollars back, right? So, yeah. So this is the mafia. This is the crypto mafia right here. Binance, OKX, and Bybit. Like this is scary.
And their Winter Soldier, Winter Mute,
And they're
that
Winter
handles
is
it all.
is used by Coinbase, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's
Understanding, right? Understanding between the two
Yeah.
probably Western and Eastern mafias. You got Binance, Bybit, OKX. You got Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini.
Yeah.
We're not messing with each other, right? But
Yeah.
I'll say this though, they also noticed that like their volume was going down too. You know, like the
Yeah.
centralized exchange volume was going down, and a lot of people. And so I think they all kind of had some stress on themselves and said, hey, you know, how do we fix the situation? Because we're the giants and now we're starting to kind of not look like the giants. So it's just a bunch of games. I feel like that, you know, is serious games though, right? Like, because the part that is very wild is they put them in a position, right? They said, okay, either Hyperliquid's going to take a $10 million loss straight up. That could get worse if they didn't like just, you know, take the loss real quick, figure everything out, because I think their vault they said 500 million, right? Or something like that.
Well, they took money out because of this. They were worried about more attacks like this happening. So they cleared it out. They cleared about $300 million out of that vault.
Okay. So, and remember yesterday I was like, that's weird. Hype is down on the bubbles chart, you know? No, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. And maybe they sold some of the hype token down too. Who knows, right? To kind of mitigate some of this,
cover some loss. Yeah.
But my point that I'm making is that like they went in and manually changed the price of jelly, put that position at I think it was like a net 700K loss, which Hyperliquid profited that actually. But they ended up losing some, I think, somewhere else. But to me, I think that's a Solana moment, right? It's a Solana moment of whenever Solana was very worried that remember their token could have went through a spiral too, because there was like some whale wallet that was planning to really dump all their Solana and it was during like the 2022, like everything was happening bad, and then they did a quick governance vote, and then they froze that wallet, and they made, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this reminds me of that. So Hyperliquid can definitely bounce back from this, but they definitely need to figure out how to protect themselves, because if they don't patch up these holes, it's going to happen again and again.
Our industry is a copycat industry as well. And if someone looks at Hyperliquid, they're like, I want to copy their business model. To me, this is a shot from the big boys saying, hey, if you copy this, if more of these pop up,
we're coming after you.
We will destroy you. Right. So this is two things. This is a shot at Hyperliquid saying you guys are not decentralized, and Hyperliquid's like, we never said we were. And again, this is a shot at potential players in the future that are building this type of, you know, chain that you deposit into, and you're able to play in this fast-paced motion that kind of feels like a centralized exchange. This is two things to me. This is these guys stepping up and saying, you're in our territory. If you mess with the dog, you might get bit, and that's kind of what they're doing right here.
It's so crazy to me because like the biggest two dogs in our space are Coinbase and Binance. Both have chains, right? And both have like these launch pads. I know like Base doesn't have the Base, like
virtuals.
Pretty much, virtuals, and then also Moonshot does Base too. But you know, Coinbase doesn't own those applications or whatever. But still, like, you know, Coinbase earns right from fees and all this stuff, like, right. So the volume, and it's just kind of like, man, like if you ever thought of like the capitalistic like juggernauts that like don't want to share anything, this is what I feel like we're kind of going through right now.
Do you think the fact that we're in very similar to a bear market, I'm not gonna say bear market, but very similar, that maybe this is kind of why as well, that, you know, when Trump launched, there was no way for the centralized exchange person to get the Trump token. Hyperliquid was the first person to launch the Trump token in spot and in leverage, right? So Hyperliquid made out more than anybody because they were like the first place where you can get leverage
outside of Solana token.
Well, outside of DeFi itself, right? Like the first like big, I mean, because in my they're an exchange, right? Like Hyperliquid,
Yeah.
you can say what you want about them. They're an on-chain exchange. They're not this, they're not this decentralized platform. They're an on-chain exchange where everything is kind of seen in the back end. Everything you can go through. I think their scan and kind of see everything. Everything is transparent. They're the most transparent exchange that's ever existed because everything
And
is on their
I think the big
Hyperliquid scan.
like that.
They don't like that. They don't like that at all because they like to be secretive, right? And then if potentially Hyperliquid is doing this, people are going to look at Binance, OKX, and Bybit and say, "Why aren't you guys on exchange? Why aren't you guys on chain? Right?
Yep.
Like, why can't I see everything that's happening in your back end?" And that's another thing that they're probably afraid of.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably one of the big ones that like we don't think about right off the bat, right? And
Yeah,
for them, it's like if this is the new standard, then we got to either join that standard or crush them to make the standard go away.
100%. And to myself's point, right? So in TradFi, we do have banksters, right? We have the JP Morgans of the world. We have the banks that control everything. And in crypto, we're seeing the same thing happening. We're seeing the same thing in the early days. And it's these monster, I mean, they're Asian exchanges, right? Binance, Bybit. I mean, they're all in Asia. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying there's no, there's nothing with that, but I'm just saying you're not seeing the American exchanges being pushed into this, right? You're kind of seeing it being from that part of the world.
Yeah. Well, we just don't see it. There could be stuff happening, but who knows?
Well, hold on, but like that's kind of the point though, is the the fact that it was, here it is. At the same time, Binance, OKX, and Bybit suddenly listed Jelly futures. Like, I mean, come on. Like, there's no that's a cabal. Like, that is 100% a cabal. You don't see 3 exchanges listing the same token that's been out for months. It's not a newer token. This was like, at least 45 days old, right? Listing it all at the same time just so they can destroy Hyperliquid. Like, I mean, if that's not cahoots, that I don't know what that is. That's really, really I mean,
we know who's friends and who's not, basically.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. You're not seeing Kraken list Jelly, right? To try to destroy Hyperliquid, but you are seeing OKX, Bybit, and Binance. So, all right, guys. So it's officially Thursday at 12 p.m. and every Thursday at 12 p.m. we have our great friends over at Arch. Arch is building something amazing, guys. They're actually building us a fast-paced moving chain on Bitcoin, and we're going to let you finalize your transactions on Bitcoin. So it's going to feel like you are on Bitcoin in a fast-paced environment. If you're someone like me who doesn't really care about the back end, you just want to trade your dog and then take the asset that you receive and then take that and put that in a yield-bearing asset. That's what I want to do, right? I want to earn yield. I want the DeFi on Bitcoin, and Arch is going to be giving me that opportunity and so much more. I'm tired of the mempool, guys. I'm tired of waiting an hour to get my damn puppet. Arch is building something that'll allow me to have my puppet. I might have to wait for my Bitcoin wallet to catch up, but I'll be able to do potentially take that puppet and take a loan out on it way before it is ever in the mempool. So I'm excited to see what updates these guys have. They recently have done a snapshot, and we're going to talk all about that right now. So without further ado, let's bring up Nick. Nick, welcome to OnChain Revolution.
What's up, guys? What's good? Good seeing you. Shizzy, as ever, really sharp on the hype video. Love it, So, Yagobi, good to see you too, brother.
Likewise.
I'm just spitting facts, bro. So
Well, my job, I'm CMO, I'm Chief Marketing Officer for Arch, and my job is a lot easier because of the fact that's all true, So it's very easy. We can just spout some facts and we can do some fun stuff. So super excited to be here. And, just like quick, brief on what we're trying to do, right? We're extending Solana and putting it on Bitcoin. So having the ability to do fast, speedy trading and transactions, which is awesome. We're going to have a ton of developer flexibility. So the ability to create apps that are super native to Bitcoin, basically just on the Bitcoin base layer, and then also apps that are more ready for scaling and to be able to do that in the same environment. So you don't have to go to different layers to do all that. And I'd also say the cool thing is that, we're trying to save all UTXO assets, right? So runes, ordinals, and, make it more productive and more programmable. So it's really a fun, exciting time at Arch, and we're super pumped to be a part of that.
Yeah, man. You guys, your slogan should be Arch Network making UTXO assets great again.
There we go.
So you guys have
Yeah.
been you guys for the first quarter of this year, I feel like you guys, especially in the start, just really just grinding. And I know you guys are working every day still, but like more of like your builder community, making sure the test net's all set up for them, everything is smooth, all that type of stuff. And then now we're kind of at the end of March, right? About to start Q2. How do you feel like the progress has been? Getting
Mm.
closer and closer to mainnet.
I think the progress has been great. Obviously, we have a really strong community of builders. I think the support from the Bitcoin community has been huge. We're starting to see more awareness in the Solana community as well of what we're doing, and getting excited about that. So, great progress. And I think two things are really coming out that are showing the excitement, or why people are so excited about this, is I think with Arch, what you're getting is getting the chance to come back to Bitcoin only with Arch, right? And what I mean by that is this: coming back to Bitcoin, the benefits of Bitcoin, the awareness of it, the trillion-dollar economy that Bitcoin has that no other chain comes close to. But you also, traditionally have just not had a real ecosystem be able to thrive on it. It's basically just been digital gold, and it's been unproductive. And I think what's really exciting, and what people are starting to see the vision of, is we have the chance to build on Bitcoin, to come back to it with all these native strengths, but then with all these new unlocks that Arch makes possible. So that's what we're talking about. And I think the other thing that's really exciting too, and if you guys check out our Discord now, one of the shifts that we're making, as we kind of move out of the testnet phase of the points program, or at least don't accentuate that as much, is we're actually creating what I think is going to be the best community by far for Rust developers. So if you're someone who loves building in Rust, or someone who's just like really Rust curious, you've been dipping your toes in, you've been seeing what people have built. We have a no code environment increasingly emerging in the world, right? Where just ordinary people like you and me can just start practicing with dev tools. Well, we're going to be doing some really fun stuff to support the Rust building community and teaching them how they can build on Bitcoin. And it's going to be some node code competitions. It's going to be, or I guess, vibe coding, right? We're going to have some of that. And we also, if you look at our Discord now, we've really revamped the organization of it so that people can get really integrated as developers. So super excited about that.
Love it. Love it. I do truly feel like Arch has this opportunity to be the home base kind of for these Bitcoin assets with DeFi. And a lot of the builders that we've talked to from your builder community are, there's definitely like separations between. I feel like there's like 2 or 3 different like segments of the builders. One segment that gets me really excited is kind of like this TradFi focus of bridging, TradFi with crypto, right? Whether that's RWA, or trading the volatility of Bitcoin. TradFi people are familiar with that. So do you feel like that will ease in, TradFi to doing more DeFi stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that what TradFi is looking for when it comes to Bitcoin is a safe place to earn yield. But what they're going to get in addition to that, and what's going to really, I guess, orange pill them in some ways, is the ability to do all these permissionless activities and have access to permissionless strategies around the world, right? So what does that mean? You start out just by storing your Bitcoin and earning some extra yield on it. But then you're like, wait a second, I can like borrow against my Bitcoin and have access to other things. That's like a DeFi function, right? I can actually have instant access to hedge fund type strategies and market making and yield strategies through that, exposure through that. Well, typically, if I was in the US, I would need like an investor license. If I'm someone who's not from the US, and I wouldn't have access to like, the same types of things that like a hedge fund or like a family office would have, right? So now you can just tap into it instantly with like some of these stablecoin strategies that are emerging, something like what Hamilton is doing with RWAs. That's going to be really interesting. So I see it as tons of institutional support already exists for just a way to earn some extra yield on your Bitcoin. But also these institutions understand the value of being able to do loop strategies, to be able to tap into different yield strategies that like, Morgan Stanley would produce for them or things like that, a BlackRock might produce. And to be able to like have that strategy be mimicked on chain, but with all the benefits of being on chain, I think it's just very clear that the opportunity is going to be huge.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm somebody who truly believes that RWA is probably going to be the biggest narrative of this cycle. I know AI is kind of the talk right now, but I think RWA, I mean, when this hits, when real world assets are being traded as NFTs in the Bitcoin ecosystem, it's going to be massive. It's going to be one of the biggest things that ever happened to crypto. And the fact that, you know, you have a place like Hamilton that's actually kind of pushing it for Arch right now, that's pretty big. And that was really great to talk to them. I think it was last week or a week before.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
All right.
say, like, you know,
Yeah.
the AI real quick, the AI component of it, because I'm thinking about this crossover from TradFi, and I know a lot of our audience is probably like, TradFi, but you guys got to realize that they're coming, guys. I mean, like the summit that they had in New York last week, and they're doing stuff without letting us know about it. You got to go to their events too, you know, and I imagine they'll utilize something like Hamilton or a platform similar, but get it automated on their side. They'll invest in like the automation from their side to manage their clients' stuff. You know what I mean? And we're gonna see systems that come into this that are gonna be robust, I think, and they're gonna like Arch is gonna be like infrastructure of what they use. They plug their systems into. I don't know. Do I seem too far off with that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. You know, so it's like the benefits of Bitcoin, you have to have some sort of VM to process that on Bitcoin. So that's what Arch is, right? But one thing about these like family offices, these institutional capital investors, is they understand the games they have been playing in TradFi for a long time. They're still learning how to play in DeFi. And when you kind of get away from terms like RWA or, you know, DEXs or all these things, and you just remind them like, all right, look, you have the opportunity to get instant exposure to the same kind of things you traditionally have been aware of, like real estate, like equities, like you know, commodities, right? But now you're going to be able to do it in a way where you have instant liquidity with it too, where you can pull out that liquidity. You know, with real estate traditionally, it's very complicated to do that sort of thing. You're in lockup periods. You know, you can't just sell a real estate product, right? But the ability to have exposure to have that thing and then to be able to pull out from it. And then in addition to that, so not just that liquidity value, but also being able to play with some of these DeFi things to get additional yield. So you were hoping to get maybe a 10% return on your real estate investments, and now you can get like a 12 or 13% pretty seamlessly and easily. Like, you have to start with what they know and basically just say, look, like, you don't know what it means when I'm investing in a token. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing if I'm investing in a token. You know, let me just say, like, you're actually, like, especially with RWAs, you're actually just investing in real estate. And this token is just becoming your dashboard for that or your representation of that. And in addition to that, you're going to be able to do some looping thing here if you want. You can do some extra yield thing. It's not going to be complicated. You just click this button and get extra yield. And that's essentially what you're doing, right? So you start with like what they know. Okay, traditional exposure. We're just making it more liquid for you. And the more we can do that on the RWA side, the better the messaging is going to be. And I think people are going to better understand the value ahead.
100%. I agree with that. And what they are familiar with is products. They just want to know like where they can make their teensy beansy, but large volume equals a lot at every level along the way. That's how banks work, right? Like when they offer the final user like a small percentage for savings, they're going to do that through this whole process, and it's going to be exciting. But yeah,
and they don't know how it works with the banks. They don't know, like, you know, they know what they're getting exposure to, right? But they don't know like what process the bank is using or the back end, or if they're using AWS, you know, as their tech. So like the infrastructure thing is there. And the last thing I'd say is anyone who is in crypto and is really frustrated by TradFi being in here, I get it. And I think that we have to create ways that people still have access to DeFi that's truly decentralized and secure and not controlled by any one government. So like I absolutely hear all of that. But remember, like when you dreamed of building a permissionless blockchain for, you know, international currency exchange and all these other things that we've done, it had like you had to know it was going to be permissionless, which means TradFi would have the option as well as anyone else to enter it, right? That's what it means to be permissionless. And so you can try to gatekeep with narratives, but the reality is like you can't keep anyone out. And so you have to and this was always going to be the case. And so now you have to figure out how do we work with this and how do we make sure there's still ways to benefit from a DeFi perspective as well.
Yeah, and to your point, once they tokenize land in Wyoming, now we can take that NFT, because that's what it is, a non-fungible token, and take it to DeFi. And then we can take loans out on that stuff, right? Like at the end of the day, take what they build and just bring it to DeFi. This is the greatest thing ever, because we don't got to do it ourselves. And that NFT is licensed potentially and backed 1-to-1 with their paperwork, right? So that again, we're just going to take what they build and bring it to DeFi anyway. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm going to jump into something else here. So I've had multiple people hit me up and send me your guys' tweet here. So if you don't mind, I would love to jump into it. So this is the tweet from you guys. Attention, Archinauts, a snapshot is incoming. This is Q to stack points now. Don't get left behind. So could you kind of jump into what this tweet is explaining and then kind of maybe add on to that as well?
Yeah. So what I'd say is this: we have done an amazing testnet campaign thanks to all the amazing people in the Bitcoin community and other communities that have come and played on our testnet. And we're talking like 30 million plus transactions on FunkyBit and on their Meme Jam products since January, right? We're talking historic accomplishments with what Saturn's been able to do with AMM swaps on Bitcoin testnet, right? Never been done before. So that is all thanks to the great work that people have been doing. And so we wanted to acknowledge and celebrate that. And in our Discord, we held a town hall to celebrate that and talk about those accomplishments. And as we now move closer to mainnet and we're aiming toward getting ready for that, we want people to also be able to focus their efforts a little more. So before we were doing daily missions with, you could do up to 100 transactions to earn points per day. And, we saw a lot of people like bringing a lot of value by that and getting awareness of our apps. But at this point, we've had 370,000 wallets participate. Like, people know the products now that are out there. And so we wanted to kind of move past just having a lot of activity and have it be more focused. And so what we're doing by this, and we always explained that there was going to be 4 phases and that this was the testnet phase. And for the record, like our technology is still on testnet and we're not launching mainnet tomorrow. Like there's a process. We're going through security audits, there's still a timeline on that. But what we're doing is saying, let's take out some of this daily grind and daily transactions because we're not here just to farm the community, but let's keep it more focused. So that means that we're at a point where, a lot of the testnet activity and points that you can earn from that has been done. We will actually, and I realize there's some confusion about this, we will still have like occasional weekly missions. And the move for that is we're still enough a ways from mainnet where there are going to be apps that launch on testnet and it will be valuable for like, them to get some users. But we're probably just going to launch like weekly missions to introduce our users to that, just as an idea, as a way for them to be aware when an app launches, right? And to be able to do something on it. But it won't be the daily type of missions that we've been doing. And so, yeah, it basically just means like, we were telling people that to like get their activity, make sure that they do all the things they want to do. And then we'll have a few more weekly missions kind of launched over the next few months before mainnet. But it'll be a little bit of a different type of points program until mainnet, and then we'll launch mainnet phase or points program phase 3.
Gotcha. So I guess my next question would be, so is the points reset now? My snapshot's done, I'm back to 0, or am I going to continually build my points?
You can continue to build your points. There will just be less of the daily activities to do them. And so you're not going to, So we don't want people to feel like so we don't want people to feel like they're getting way behind, essentially. And so there won't be a ton of activities to do, but people who are kind of like Easter eggs, like people will see, oh, there's a weekly mission. Okay, we can do it. But, most weeks we probably won't have a ton of new ones. We may have a new one this coming week, heads up, because of some of the stuff that's exciting and cooking with FunkyBit. But I would just say the snapshot was probably, to be honest, the wrong word for it because we're still doing some testnet activities until mainnet. But it's going to be a lot less, and it's kind of like moving out of that phase.
Yeah. I think that was smart actually, because what you do, like you said, is people that are interested in earning some of this possible airdrop in the future don't feel like they're going to get peanuts now. And it's kind of like, okay, people can kind of all participate and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that. Are there any updates or anything like that you could tell our audience right now that we haven't gone over yet, or do you feel like you've covered pretty much all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think just going back to the fact that Arch really represents the best opportunity to come back to Bitcoin and to build the ecosystem that Bitcoin was always capable of. And with that in mind, we are launching, a new aspect of our Discord where we're going to be doing a lot of these cool vibe coding sessions. We're going to be doing, mentorship between Rust developers who are more experienced as well as those who are just trying it for the first time. I think a lot of our efforts and motivation and the types of incentives we create are going to be more focused on supporting the Rust developer community in the Discord. So super excited about that. And by the way, we have like over 1,000 people with the developer tag in our Discord. So really tapping into that community. Yeah, having great builders work together. We have a form a team Discord too, where if you're looking to form, a team, a lot of times like marketing people or like traditional CEOs will be looking for developers to team up with. Like we're creating that. So, and actually, I can even like you guys can kind of see some of this real quickly. I'll just share screen.
Yeah. Well, you guys heard Nick just now. If you are a Rust developer and you're interested in building, or maybe not interested in building, but just want to be a part of the community to help out in what ways you can, make sure you join the Arch Network Discord and get plugged in there.
Yeah. So as you can tell, before we had the Archonauts campaign up front here. Now we've moved developers up to the top. We have a dev chat, a dev forum. You can ask questions, and there's a good way to message with each other. We have a Rust beginners chat for people who are just getting started. We're gonna really be amping up our mentors. We've got to form a team. We'll be posting some resources in the learn section. We'll be playing around with some hackathon ideas. So really, really excited about these new unlocks because if you look at it, the Rust community doesn't really have like great spaces to hang out and just share notes. And a lot of it is done on Twitter informally. We've got some really great Rust developers out there in the world. People like Lifo Fifo and so many others. You guys recently had Bunzi on, who's creating some great dev tooling for Bitcoin. So like we want to really celebrate that and embrace that. And that's why we're creating this community where we're going to actually play active role in matchmaking and bringing people together to have these types of conversations. So super pumped about that. And yeah, look, like this is your chance to come back to Bitcoin. And I'd say it's only possible with Arch because, you can do all these silo apps and, try to build on your own, but this is the only way we can build an ecosystem on Bitcoin. So super excited to have everybody.
Awesome. Yeah. And I wouldn't be shocked if, next year we look at the developer ecosystem count and Rust is challenging for that top spot, because there's more and more people interested in SVM and being able to, learn and build through that virtual machine. So it's going to be interesting times for sure.
And the best part too is if you have a project on Solana, and let's just say you're not doing too well, try it on Arch, right? I mean, because all it really is at the end of the day is a copy and paste. Because you guys are using potentially SVM type of thing there, so potentially just take that Rust code and bring it over to Arch, and potentially you guys can, instead of being the small fish in a big pond, you can be the big fish in a small pond and actually grow your community with people that love Bitcoin.
Dude, you nailed it. The opportunity is so massive on Bitcoin for really base Solana developers to come in and build with Arch because it is a SVM type environment using native Rust, and we've converted it to be compatible with UTXOs. So just think of it as like building in the SVM, but now with UTXO management and the ability to build apps that can interact directly with Bitcoin on the base layer. And the world just opens up massive liquidity, of course, on Bitcoin. Super large interest in tapping into DeFi with institutional products and Bitcoin access there. So I really encourage all developers who have played around with Solana, have played around with Rust on Bitcoin. Maybe in the past it wasn't ready. Maybe you tried and you were like, God, this process just sucks. And so that's why Arch has essentially built that missing piece for Bitcoin. To actually allow developers to create fast apps that work together to unlock the trillions in native liquidity on Bitcoin. So super excited to have everybody, and we're building the best community for Rust developers and for SVM type builders to build on Bitcoin. So definitely welcome you with open arms.
Yep, and I think Brian might be a part of your team there. I'm not sure, but he says if you are a dev, make sure you add your GitHub to your Discord connections and go to the roles channel in the Discord server to onboard. So you heard it there. Just follow those instructions. Maybe we can put that in the description as well of today's video. But Nick, man, you're always a pleasure. I know you guys are running around like chickens with your heads cut off, but like you guys are doing, God's work here to save these layer 1 assets, because we need to be able to do some stuff with them in a fun environment, and that's what you guys are building. But we appreciate your time, and can't wait to have you back on.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Always appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely amazing as always. Glad to have the guys from Arch on, and I think it's great for our community too, because like we bring you guys every single day potential airdrops, right? Like everyone we've had on this week was a potential airdrop for you guys. I mean, from Artura to Emblem Vault to BetBTC to so on and so on. There's so much opportunity in this space, guys, for you to get free money. So it's stupid not to try every single one of these products that are in testnet, because it is potentially game changing for you guys, and Arch is another one for you guys to keep paying attention to. And that's why we do these Arch Thursdays, right? Like that we do this to kind of make sure our audience is kind of being one of the first people that are in these communities and actually showing you guys how to do it. And it's really simple, and we're going to make videos on potentially how to get these airdrops as well.
Exactly. And also, a couple of these projects will eventually blow up, in my opinion, and be like the big players of this next cycle, right? And getting all the information and education and doing your own research with that and hearing directly from the founders. I mean, Nick is a co-founder, right? He's the CMO, but he's a co-founder of Arch, right? Alongside Matt. So, we're going to continually try to bring the founders directly to you so you can hear directly from their mouths what they're building. And you can make the decision if you want to dive deep into that as like whatever investment for your portfolio off of that information. But we appreciate you guys. 292. We got something else, or?
Yeah, I got a few more things.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing is called Elastos. So Elastos secures 50% of Bitcoin's hash rate and offers a full EVM compatibility, trustless smart contracts, and Bell 2. Via Bell 2, which is I gotta dig more into that, but it seems very similar to what Bell is doing, Bell's chain, BTC backed stablecoin, and DID solutions. So I digged a little deeper into this after you sent this to me yesterday. Elastos uses merge mining with Bitcoin. So it says secures 50% of Bitcoin's hash rate. It means that the miners are collectively control 50% of Bitcoin's hash rate, also merge mining Elastos. So we're kind of seeing very similar to what miners are doing with Fractal. They're kind of doing with Elastos. So when they come out and they say, "Oh, we have 50% of Bitcoin's hash rate," yeah, because they're just mining and dumping your token. So that's one thing. Just make sure you guys are aware of. But it's definitely something to pay attention to. So Elastos, this is the thing here, and they have a comparison thing here. If you go to Cointelegraph or just go to Elastos right here, they reposted it. But they're basically comparing it to Rootstock and Stacks. This is another L2. Building on Bitcoin that is they're UTXO based and they're using EVM, right? So they're doing both, which we're seeing a lot of. But you can actually start mining their token if you're mining Bitcoin, and if you're interested in doing what people are doing with Fractal and stuff like that. So Elastos is definitely something to kind of pay attention to, and something over the next couple months I'll be taking a deep dive into.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what this is about, full EVM compatibility, but Rootstock has that as well. And we know Rootstock hasn't really taken off, whether that's their marketing approach or what. But this is going to be interesting. It's another way to kind of get into one of these mining coins, I guess early, right? And maybe be a part of the mining part, because I do know that like the miners that came into Bell's coin early made out like bandits the second round. I mean, like in 2023, they made a lot of money, man. And then people were acquiring Bells at like 10 cents and below and all that stuff. So this could be a good opportunity, but do your own research based off of this and you make your decision, right? So
I mean, if you're just mining, you might as well, right? Like if you're mining Bitcoin right now, and it might actually be smart for you to merge mine this as well, and maybe Fractal as well. I mean, it's the same thing. You're not really adding too much hash power to your machine. You're not destroying your machine at all. So think about doing that. And potential, who knows? Maybe a potential earning projects that are launching on here maybe be without tokens, right? So maybe be airdrop farming these as well, guys. There's so much opportunity if you have the time. There's so much of it. But wait, there's more. Zeus Network pops onto the scene here. So Zeus Network, a new era of Bitcoin on Solana, the first permissionless Bitcoin on-chain exchange on Solana, powered by ZBTC, just launched today. There's something we've seen on the crypto bubbles. The Zeus token was up 50% today. I've looked into this a little bit. You were telling me about this right before the show, so I didn't do enough research on it. But we did find one of the dApps on the Zeus chain, and it's called the Zeus chain, correct?
I don't know if it's called Zeus.
Zeus
It's
Network.
Zeus Network.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Zeus Network has a dApp called Apollo Dex. So right now you can actually turn your
If you go to
Bitcoin-
Mint, in the top left,
okay, you can turn your Bitcoin into
BTC.
ZBTC. Yeah. So this is here, and I'm guessing this is going to be how you're going to be able to use Bitcoin in their Solana. It's a Solana layer 2 with Bitcoin layer 2. Right? Like this is pretty wild. It's definitely another thing to keep your eye on. I don't think Apollo has a token either. So
Yeah, this is very early stages in terms of
Yeah.
releasing the dApps and stuff, right? It seems that way, but Zeus has been building for a while actually, and it's funny because we just talked about Arch,
Yeah.
right? But Arch, I believe, are doing it differently in terms of
Well,
the
they're on
SVM
Bitcoin, yeah.
and finalizing on Bitcoin. But I don't know what the tech stack actually does here. But if you don't mind, I can share my screen to kind of show
Yeah,
this
please
post
do.
to show their flow here. Let me pull that down there and pull this up. Okay, so let's jump in here. All right, you can see here. All right, cool. I'm not going to go through all this. I just want to show you guys this part, which is pretty cool because it says future Bitcoin dApps on Solana. So the Bitcoin wallet, I think they might be creating one that is specific for their network. Also, they're integrating the Bitcoin wallets. And then leveraging UTXO based assets. So that's where the similarity, I think, with Arch comes in. Is kind of like the Rust and UTXO, translation there. Permissionless wrapped Bitcoin. So, Arch is probably going to have their wrapped Bitcoin as well. This has ZBTC. You're in the minting process. That's early. That means you're early in this network, right? The part that really makes me excited here is the Ordinals Runes integration, right? So you're looking at this, Ordinals Runes integration into the Zeus program library. So it's going to be integrated there. So I'm sure the bridging is going to be really quick and smooth. And then I wish they didn't put this part, but and more.
But wait, there's more.
But anyways, I have a very, very strong feeling that they have a lot of VC backed. They're very VC backed because they haven't really been communicating with the Bitcoin ecosystem community really that much directly. It's all kind of big marketing and that's it. High level. If you want to learn more, you're gonna have to figure out ways to get more information and stuff like that, right? So I like Arch's approach, speaking directly to the community.
Yeah.
This could be amazing though. The whole part that gets me bullish though is the Ordinals and Runes integration. So now you have Zeus, and we talk about this. I talk about it a ton. Is the chain abstraction situation, right? Now I bring Solana up, but before this, it was really RuneMine that was just bridging it over. That was the kind of chain abstraction, I guess, closest thing there. But now with Zeus having their own network, Runes and Ordinals are being serviced by Solana SVM directly, right? And then now we're going to have Arch. That's going to try to be the closest thing to a native using SVM. That's another area. ICP's doing stuff right now. Odin, Bob crushing it. We're about to see the near release of RuneShot and RuneMine together. My point that I'm making is this Bitcoin ecosystem that I said is like an onion of layers. This is that chain abstraction layer coming together, and that sometimes mixes in with this hybrid 1.5 layer, which is like Arch, right? So exciting times. I really truly believe this, man. I think it's going to be more and more networks, layers and stuff trying to service Runes and Ordinals and BRC20s.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm actually going to reach out to these guys and see if we can get them on the show. I would love for them to kind of explain what they're doing, but it does seem like the difference in Arch is not like you don't have a bridge for Arch, right? There's no bridge.
Mm-hmm.
With these guys, it seems like everything that's going to be over there is going to be ZPL token, Zeus, Solana's tokens called their token standards the SPL. They're using ZPL, so they're layer 2 on top of Solana. You'll be able to take your asset and kind of take it over there. But the way that they're different from Arch is you got to bridge it over, right? Or they're going to take Dog that's already on Solana, that's already an SPL, and have you bridge it to ZPL as well. But there is a nice probably way of doing that as well from Solana to Arch as well, because they're kind of very similar, right? I'm sure the standard's gonna be similar. So we're gonna see a lot of innovation happening over the next couple of months, guys. And I'm just so glad to be a part of it. And it's kind of feels like everyone's kind of pushing that Bitcoin layer 1 asset narrative. So
I mean, Solana's daily runners aren't going anymore. They're not lasting for a couple weeks, getting to like 100 million or more.
A few hours,
they're topping out at max. I think was it the Gilby, I think it's called, or Glebe or whatever it is.
Yeah,
anyways,
Gleechby,
whatever the heck it is, right? The anime coin, that was the highest one that I've seen in a long time. It got to 25 million. But every other daily runner's only got to like 5 million in it, and it sells back down, meaning that they're looking at stuff. They want more substance, the community. So thank you as a crypto community, be smartening up and not just like, throwing your hard-earned assets away to these daily runners that have a YouTube link as like their resource.
And guys, we're going to look more into Zeus. We're going to look more into Apollo for you guys, and make sure if there's an opportunity there to let you guys know what that opportunity is. But the final thing I have here is Odin.fund founder Bob Bodley showing a signature move during an ICP lab. So you were right. It was an ICP lab thing. So it seems like Bob, and people are kind of saying right now that like Bob's not marketing, blah, blah, whatever. Bob's going after the ICP community and showing them, it's a full tutorial on how to use Odin, right? And it looks like it's in the back. I'm not going to play the sound, but he's just like kind of showing them how to buy it. And then he goes and rips a 230 buys in 10 seconds. Look at this thing go. Look at right there at the bottom there. He's just ripping transactions, ripping them. So shout out to Bob Bodley, man, doing in-person, development, right? So showing people how to use lectures in person. So Bob's doing his thing, guys. So I'm very bullish. Another one, very bullish on Odin. Again, possible airdrop as well. Bob said it on our show. So there's so much opportunity for you guys to just use the tools we have and potentially going to earn from that. So I'm really looking forward to Bitcoin season 2, because it seems like it's gonna be coming. So, and all these assets, they all lead back to layer 1 Bitcoin.
Awesome. And sometimes you get lost in the sauce, because like, whenever things are quiet on Bitcoin with like ordinals and everything, you're just kind of like, man, I don't know. Like I was there a couple of times. I don't know if it's, my convictions was right, but I 100% think that like the Bitcoin ecosystem is going to have the biggest boom this cycle still. Especially if people are getting tired. They want communities. They want to establish communities. And I'll say this about Odin, way more of a community environment than Pump Fund. Like 100 times more, because they don't have the crazy like volume or anything. So there's not like all these greedies, and the people that try to be greedy, there's not enough liquidity for them to be greedy over here. So you're forced to kind of build these communities, which is good for when it does get busy. And I'm not saying that won't come there once it does get crazy volume, but I just do really hope these communities really start building back up again.
To say that isn't fair though, because the Dog Whiff was a Pump Fund token, and that community has a community. Jelly was a Pump Fund token.
But that has gone away. You just can't buy them on.
Well, it went away because they get put on Radium and they leave Pump Fund. But now with Pump Fund's DEX, they're actually going to be back on Pump Fund again. A lot of the tokens that have Pump in the back. So I don't know. I think it's unfair to say like a lot of the Pump Fund tokens don't have community when it's the newer ones, the ones that are inside the Pump Fund.
That's the one I'm talking about though, is the new ones that are launching right now. I've been over there.
All the new ones are launching on that garbage on Odin. There's no new tokens at all that are.
No, but everybody knows the top ones over here in Odin though, right?
But everyone knows the top ones on Solana.
But they're new.
Dog Whiff, Jelly.
But these are new over here, is what I'm trying to say. Odin.
Jelly is just as new as Odin Dog.
Is it? I don't know about Jelly.
It just came out in February. I mean, Odin Dog came out January 31st.
Maybe I'm talking about the last month and a half or so. It's just been like trash. You know what I mean?
Well, you're talking about tokens that are pre-bonded, not like I just think don't think
I'm talking about tokens that bond. I'm talking about tokens that have bond, Governor Hot Wheels. I'm talking about like even the Sarasota like water bottle.
There was
know what I mean?
there was a big cat that just bought it, and it's a copy of the original. I'm just saying.
But the
Let's be
original
fair,
big cat is
let's
still
be
there.
fair.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But
The original
there's
big
one
cat's
that was
there.
just. But there's,
I'm not saying that
Jelly's there.
I'm not saying that there's not degeneracy happening on Odin. There
Yeah.
is, but because it's so new and because like there isn't a bunch of liquidity to try to extract from everybody, you're kind of forced into the ones that you believe in, right? So that's
Well,
just
like
what I'm
9
saying.
tokens. I mean, you're
That's
forced to.
so
If you
that's
want
what
to
I'm
play at
saying.
all, you got to hold on to
That's
the
what I'm
9.
saying.
So,
That's what I'm saying, though.
but,
A bit like
yeah.
and
But
maybe we're
you
more
can say the same thing
familiar.
about Solana. Maybe there's
Maybe-
9 Solana tokens that came out of
Yeah,
Pump Fund. That's worth it, right?
That
So
came out like in like February of last year, but that's good. I'm glad they're going back
well,
to
Pump
those.
Fund
That's
launched
what
in
we want,
April
or whatever
of
last year, or
yeah.
whenever they
Yeah.
launched those early ones. I'm glad they're going back to those. They should. Those are
Yeah.
the ones that
Well,
like
it's
have
because Pump
foundation.
Fund has them again. Pump Fund's listing them again because of their exchange, which was genius because now you're actually singing them again on the Pump Fund, which
Yeah.
no one goes to Radium.
I want
Everyone goes
Solana people to go
Pump
back
Fund.
to Dogwolf Hat. I want them to go back to these like Giga Chad ones or whatever, the ones that actually had people like that like had a community rallying.
Well, there is still
us.
community members there. We just are not there, you know. So
I mean that could be part of it. But like I'm seeing Solana people say this. They're saying people are going back because they want to get into something they believe in again. So
the belief
that's
is
good.
coming back. The HODL culture is coming back for sure, 100%. But we have a comment here. I want to hit on this real quick before we get out of here. It says, "Hey guys, how's it going for you? Today's my first time here. Thank you so much for being here." He's like, "I have bought some Bell's coin and Pi last week. What do you guys think I should sell them or hold? I really value your point." So we're not going to give you financial advice. But Bell's coin is something that we both hold in our personal portfolios. Pi is interesting.
Pay.
Pepe?
Yeah, that's the like the Asian Pepe.
Oh.
Pepe.
Okay. Well, yeah. I don't know much about it, so I can't tell you. So Bell's coin, yeah. Pepe, maybe not, but that's not financial advice. That's just our personal opinions. But thank you so much for being here, man. Really appreciate you popping in for us. But guys, that is our show today. Really appreciate all 324 people on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Rumble, Abstract, Spotify, and what else? We got Twitch and so much other places. We appreciate every single one of you guys, man. And yeah, that's our show.
Yep. We do appreciate all of you guys because without you guys, we couldn't do this. We had a slow start today, but you guys really showed up and we appreciate that. But without our partners, we also couldn't do this. And if you wouldn't mind checking them out, we would greatly appreciate your support there. Emblem Vault is going to be the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin layer 1 asset class, more specifically ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your puppets, node monks, frogs from Bitcoin layer 1 to Merlin chain to Base to Abstract to Arbitrum. And eventually Solana, they've been working on that one as well. So get ready for that, as well as their AI agent hustle that you're going to be able to utilize to help you vault that, so you don't have to go through the tedious process of doing it manually. They also have their rune that they're going to TGE in September. So make sure you visit emblem.vision to learn more about that. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is some Bitcoin, a Bitcoin wallet like Xverse, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets on their markets. They just released their Blitz markets, which is really fun. You can actually bet if Bitcoin's going to go up or down. You have a 10-minute clock to make that bet, and then you have to wait an additional 10 minutes after that first 10 minutes is up, and then you can see if you won or lost. You'll get paid out immediately if you won, and of course, if you lost, you don't get anything there. But be responsible with it, guys. There's going to be some really exciting things coming to BetBTC, as well as create your own markets. That's going to be here in the future, where you can earn up to 1.5% of the total volume. You can learn all about this, guys, at betbtc.win. And Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin layer 1 fungible tokens like Sats, Ordi, Doggo to the Moon. And then also stuff outside of the ecosystem that's popular, XRP, Tau. So it's going to be exciting times. You're going to be able to use up to 150x leverage. And remember, these guys are back. They're on a chain. They're going to be launching on a mainnet chain called Hemi, Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs. So that's going to be a special environment there. You can learn all about this at artura.finance. And Fluid Tokens, the UTXO wizard devs that started on Cardano, and they're still there, but they are also building and doing huge things on Bitcoin Layer 1. The first to offer staking vaults to retail users. If you play in Odin and you hold PEP Odins or Sparks, you can actually bridge those back to Bitcoin Layer 1 and stake to earn. Sparks, I think, is closed up, actually, so sorry about that. But the PEP Odins, I think, is open until the first week of April. So if you are a founder of a Rune collection, and you have an established community, or you have something on Odin that has established community, you can reach out to Raul, the CTO, and he'll get you set up with a staking vault for your community to earn. They're also building this amazing interoperability chain abstraction tool called Aquarium that's going to allow you to buy Dog Go to the Moon on Cardano, guys. It's going to be amazing. You can learn all about this at fluidtokens.com. And Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solutions for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a retail user and you want to swap for Dog Go to the Moon, you can do that right now on Merlin Chain at merlinswap.org. They have a strong liquidity pool there. Also, if you have Merlin Chain tokens, you can participate in securing the chain with their proof of stake by staking your Merlin tokens to earn 15% APR. They're going to be adding Bitcoin to help secure the chain as well, and we will update you on the APR as soon as we get that information as well. Yeah, so amazing stuff, guys. And they are always, looking for builders. So if you want information, I would go to merlinchain.io to get more information there. And lastly, don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. We should be live streaming this next Tuesday. We'll update you guys ASAP at 3 p.m. next Tuesday, Eastern Time. Everybody's invited. All you need is a compatible Bitcoin wallet, or they accept, I think, Phantom, as well as maybe Magic Eden. And then you can pick your clan, and then we start playing. So it's a 45-minute session, and it's really, really fun. So make sure you join if you're interested. And Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. Cheapest Ordinals around will be on Ordinal Hive. And they have a space every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out. We will be there as we help co-host that. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. And just so you guys know, some of our partners are going to be doing rebrands. So if you do see a different logo or a different name, just know that it's all part of what their experience and their goal is and everything. So look out for that as well. There's some huge opportunities with our partners, guys. Huge. Check them out for sure. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like you can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have the NordVPN. It's the #1 VPN in my opinion. I love it. I use it every single day. And if you don't want to use Nord and don't want to pay for it, you guys can get a free one. There's free ones out there. But if you're okay with the $3 a month, I think I paid $36 for the year. And I'm super happy with it. And you guys can definitely come here, use our link, and get that 70% off. Don't pay the $10. If you go to NordVPN, they're going to have you pay $10 a month. Don't do it. Use our link. It's $3 a month. So definitely use that there. And if you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. But do not wait till May to get your tickets. Get them as soon as possible. They go up every single Friday, it seems. So if you're interested in getting your tickets, get them as soon as possible. When the demand goes up, supply goes down, the price goes up. And just know that. Do not pay. Don't even buy them in May. If you don't buy them now, don't buy them in May. And use our link. It helps the show. And on top of that, if you pay in Bitcoin, you can actually get another discount where it's even cheaper. I think it's 25% off if you use Bitcoin. And if you need merch for that event or any event, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. Click our store tab. That'll take you to our Shopify, all done through a third party. And you guys can get some of the best logos in crypto, period. And if you would like us to add something, just reach out to us. We can add pretty much anything. Sorry. I meant to mute that. But yeah, guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. And on that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.